Indicator, and Soul Stealer. For Team 5, they banned Swiftblade, Slither, and Ophelia.
Wow, Team 5 banning Ophelia. Well, I guess at this high
Yeah,
level,
they got to take away that
yeah.
Ophelia away from Pig. He can be a monster on it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that Pig had a monster Ophelia. I just knew that Sebuska was pretty good on Ophelia.
Yeah. But I gotta say, like five looks like they're on top of this. Like every single time, Loaded is taking like maximum time to figure out their bans and picks, and then right away, Five's like, we know what we want. Every single time, they're like, we're banning this right
It's
after.
been like that for 6 months, I swear. Loaded back when they were We Heart Pigs, back when they were Check
Oh
Six,
yeah.
and now with this Loaded, they've always been known for taking forever on these picks. But I guess what works works. So and a little bit about that. Obviously, these two teams have a monster history. These two teams are far and away the best teams in the world. Okay, um, they pretty much meet at just about every finals, as you guys are all aware of. But recently, it's definitely going to be Load that has the momentum in their favor. They've definitely been looking stronger than Five. Five's kind of been going undergoing some kind of like a change in their roster a little bit, and I would say it's
G
not like
stream's gonna go up in 30 seconds.
not like a favorable change per se. I mean, it's kind of like I don't know. Whereas Load, on the other hand, seems like they've just been upgrading their roster nonstop. So many people
Ever
would
since they
say,
got that, ever since they got that sponsorship from Check Six, they've just been practicing like that, like mad, getting better every single game. Like watching them after they got sponsored, it was like perfection every single time. They knew what they needed to do, and they executed perfectly.
yeah,
So
they seem to be taking themselves very seriously now.
hopefully, yeah, we don't see them fold under the pressure of $1,000 prize pool.
Oh, definitely not. Well, these picks are coming out now, and surprisingly, we've got Defiler not on the side of Loaded. But these are, I mean, honestly, I saw a thread in the official forums where people were guessing what picks were, and I think literally every single one of these picks so far were actually guessed by I think like the second or the original poster or something like that. So good job to that guy. I'm not sure who he was, but these picks are definitely just the normal picks that these teams have been using over the past month, you could say.
Yeah, it's insane since ever since the that last major patch, pushing teams have been so incredibly important. Like pushing teams are always incredibly valid in these games, but especially since that last patch, we've seen competitive teams just running push strats against push strats just every single time. But like right away, you've got Loaded, Polywog, and Engineer, like those two monster pushers, and
Yep.
then on
Yep.
Five side, Hellbringer and Defiler, also incredibly good pushers. But
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna be interested to see how Five pulls this out with they've got quite a bit amount of squishy,
it's true.
but an absolute ton amount of magic damage. I'm just like I'm really interested to see how they're gonna pull this out with if Behemoth gets in there, he gets in there and he gets like a good ult off. That Five is just going to be taking tons of damage, and with such squishy heroes like that, one bad ulti from one really good ulti, my bad, from Behemoth is just going to wipe them out. So they're going to have to play a really good positioning game here. Not let themselves get caught in blinking Behemoth, possibly a blinking Pestilence and Engineer. If Engineer gets in there with that ult, and he's getting that ulti off and giving purge and silence on all these heroes, it's gonna wreck them, and you're just gonna be able to take out that plague rider pretty
Definitely.
fast.
The story of these team fights probably are just going to be who can get the initiation off first. You've got the massive Hellbringer initiation there, obviously. If he can land that on the Blinkers, if he can land that on Pestilence and Behemoth, and maybe, who knows, maybe Warden will get a blink as well. It's hard to say. If he can land that on the Blinkers and obviously just, initiate the fight. Oh, here comes the Puppet Master pick. Five known for their Puppet Master play. I think whoever initiates these fights is probably going to end up winning. That's kind of how it goes at this level.
I agree. I got to say, there's a lot of beef on Loaded's team. They've got several heroes which who can carry if they need be. They're probably going to be running for Corrupted Disciple, running that hard carry solo mid. But we've seen it in the past. Engineer is a great carry. That turret is insane. He gets some good damage on him. He throws down a turret, and the turret by itself is just like an extra auto attacking hero that just wipes out teams. And Pestilence also, if he gets in a really good Monkey King bar, starts getting some DPS items, he's a very valid semi-carry as well. So I'll be
Definitely.
interested to see how they're going to run this. But right now, I don't know. What do you think? Right now I got to give the advantage to Loaded just because I really like their pick so far. I think it's got good synergy, and I think they have enough beef to live through any burst damage that 5 has, and then they've got enough burst of their own to take out a squishy team like 5 has. But what do you think, Chappie?
I would say you're pretty close, honestly. Again, I think really whoever gets the initiation off is going to win, but you make some valid points with how fat some of their heroes are, as opposed to how skinny most of 5's heroes are, really. So, I mean, if you even get one blink stun on 5, it's going to be chained up by another 2 probably, and it's just going to be a massacre, really. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this works. I mean, you're going to have Tobacco on Defiler, or you're going to have somebody on Defiler. Nobody's actually rated up yet in the game except B-Kid on Behemoth, but whoever's on Defiler and obviously Hellbringer, maybe they're going to be pushing a tower, and they're just going to be sweating the entire game because they're going to have great ward support behind trees, etc., to make sure they don't get blinked on, or they're just going to stay really far in the back and maybe sacrifice somebody who isn't that important in team fights. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how these team fights go. I actually haven't seen 5 versus Load with just these these are honestly just the most popular picks. Like, nothing unique is coming out of these picks right now. These are just the most common, popular, overpowered picks right now, and it's just OP versus OP right now. All right, well, it's time to go over who's playing exactly what, since we are in the game. Nobody rated up, but top to bottom, left to right, Chu is going to be our Polywog, Warden's going to be on Engineer, Pig going to be on Pestilence, Dodo on CD, and B-Kid on Behemoth. On the other side, it's going to be Sebuska on Puppet Master, doing some carry. Haven't seen that very often from Sebuska. F8 on Hellbringer, Angry Testy on Soul Reaper, Blavo on the Plague Rider, and Tobacco on Defiler. Tobacco is going to be mid against... obviously, they're going to throw Chu mid. I mean, you can't put Chu anywhere but mid, honestly. So, well, what do you think about these lanes? You can see the lanes formulating right now. What do you think top lane's going to be? Who's going to be favoring in top?
Yeah, obviously I mentioned Corrupt Disciple solo mid, but I completely forgot that they have a Polywog Priest, and I gotta say, I really don't like to see a Polywog Priest doing any of those side lanes. I really think that he's way too powerful to, he really needs to run solo mid, get some early levels off, and it looks like that's exactly what Loaded is going to be doing. They're going to be running a solo mid Polywog, and then out the top, Behemoth, Corrupted Disciple, that's a pretty powerful lane. You know, Behemoth can get a really good stun block off, and Corrupted Disciple just starts draining their damage. You know, if they're stuck for 7 seconds, Corrupt Disciple is just going to be cleaning up on that hero. So it'll be interesting to see if Behemoth is going to be really dependent on Behemoth getting some good stuns off. But interesting enough, Engineer actually was the one who grabbed wards, and that is pretty interesting. I'm not sure who. I believe it was Behemoth who grabbed the chicken, I think. But anyway, up at top.
Yeah, definitely gonna be watching out for those B-Kid stuns. Gonna be trying to get those blocks off. But down bottom, it's gonna be kind of tough for Pestilence to get any farming at all. You've got Plague Rider there, played by Blavo. He's obviously great at controlling a lane by himself. But I mean, add Angry Tessie, Soul Reaper on top of that. It's gonna be a nightmare right there for our Pestilence to get any last hits.
Yeah, sorry about that. I accidentally hit my mute mic button. That's why I kind of cut off there. But
I do it all the time.
It's going to be a little tough for that bottom lane. They're actually pushing out quite a bit. It's going to be interesting. But you see Angry Testy placing that ward over in that creep camp, blocking that out. So they're not going to be able to get any pulls unless they try and pull the crow, unless they try and get an early crow and early counter wards. And I just don't seeing that happening. This early in the game. So a really good play by Angry Testy placing the wards in that area. It's such a hard ward to try and counter. So, that lane's going to be pushing up. They're not going to have quite as easily as farm. They're going to have to play a little bit defensive because, once Plague Rider casts an ulti, nuke, Pestilence already take a little bit of damage from Plague Rider. But once he casts that nuke, and they just can chase down heroes when the lane is pushed like this. So it's going to be very dangerous for Loaded.